Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 13th, 2025, and Barcelona have renewed yet another up-and-coming promising talent out of La Masia. Also, we're going to tell you about all the clubs that have joined the race for Marc Ter Stegen. And finally, it's been revealed how much Barcelona paid Lenglet for his contract rescission. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and I know I didn't make any videos yesterday. I do apologize about that. I was working pretty late. I finished work at midnight, and I tried to make videos at that time, but I was so tired I went to sleep. So instead, I'm doing these videos during my lunch hour to cover all the news that happened yesterday, Thursday, and of course today, it's Friday. So today there will be live podcast later today in the evening, so stay tuned to the channel. Anyways, let's begin with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona have renewed yet another young and up-and-coming talent out of La Masia, who's no other than Pau Berges. Pau Berges is a 16-year-old left back who has been at La Masia since he was a kid. In fact, this will be his 10th year in the academy, which means he joined La Masia at 6 years old. That's absolutely crazy, ladies and gentlemen. 6 years old. What were you doing at 6 years old? I know I was like probably sucking my thumb and doing dumb shit. But Pau Berges is considered a very promising left back, someone who is known for his strong technical and tactical awareness. Someone who started the last season with the under-16 A team, but has already featured for the under-19. So that means he's playing in the categories way, way above his age because that's how promising he is. And while the news is that at 16 years old, he has now officially signed his first professional contract with Barcelona, extending his time with the Blaugrana club. And this, of course, is part of the huge campaign that Barcelona are doing to renewing the current talent that they have, which is, of course, very, very crucial. People are always like, oh, who's Barcelona signing? Bro, let's first secure the talent we have before we talk about signings, because the talent we have is even more important than the talent that we could sign. Now, speaking of keeping the talent that we currently had, it's reported that Deco is set to meet with Eric Garcia's agents in the upcoming days. Of course, Eric Garcia has a contract until 2026, so that means he's entering the final year of his contract. And of course, now Barcelona have a new rule where no player will be allowed to play the final year of their contract at Barcelona. So you either renew or you get offloaded. But Eric Garcia has been rejecting offers, stating that he only is thinking about Barcelona and only wants to stay at Barcelona. And as far as Hansi Flick, he has requested from the club to extend the contract of Eric Garcia. Flick completely counts on Eric Garcia. As we saw, he did a great job being a substitute of Koundé. Plus, he's a very versatile defender, someone that can play as a center back, right back, left back, defensive midfielder, ref, water boy, towel boy, goalkeeper, center forward. I mean, this guy can do it all, And as a result, Flick has requested from the club to keep and extend the contract of Eric Garcia. And since Eric Garcia doesn't want to go anywhere else, Deco is set to meet with his agents in the upcoming days in order to extend the contract of the Barcelona defender. Someone who I always thought, should stay at Barcelona. Someone I always thought that had what it takes to become an important player. And well, lo and behold, that's what Eric Garcia has proved to Hansi Flick during this past season. All right, on to the next bit of news, because one player who Barcelona are not looking to keep is Marc Ter Stegen. They're trying to push him out after completing the signing of Joan Garcia. And the news is that there are several European clubs interested in the German goalkeeper. And I'm going to tell you exactly every single club that are currently interested in him, starting with AC Milan. AC Milan are looking to sign Marc Ter Stegen because their current goalkeeper, Mike Maignan. God, that was bad. That was really, really bad. That was my attempt at saying his name in French. But Mike is set to join Chelsea from AC Milan. And as a result, AC Milan are looking for a replacement. And they have set their eyes on Marc Ter Stegen. The second team who are interested in the German goalkeeper is PSG. Because right now they're in negotiations with Donnarumma to renew his contract. But it looks like Donnarumma wants a lot of money. And that's causing a little bit of hiccups in his negotiation. And as such, PSG have also eyed Marc Ter Stegen, with Luis Enrique requesting the signing of Ter Stegen in case something happens with Donnarumma. And that's because, let's not forget, it was Luis Enrique who decided that Ter Stegen should be the #1 goalkeeper. So no, it's not the story you heard on Twitter that, oh, Ter Stegen walked into the offices and he demanded to be the first goalkeeper, blah, blah, blah. You really think Barcelona would fall for like a player telling them, you either make me a starter or I leave? He would have been out a long day. But, hey, Twitter said it, right? So Mark Ter Stegen must have, walked into the PSG offices and say, hey, consider me or I'm also leaving. I guess the story doesn't really add up when it comes to PSG. But anyways, there are more clubs interested in Mark Ter Stegen. The next one is Newcastle. Newcastle, who, as you know, were recently bought by, I think it was Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken, a Saudi Arabian fund. So they are, of course, looking to start competing at the highest level, including the Champions League. So as such, they are looking for an elite goalkeeper. And they have set their eyes on Mark Ter Stegen. The next one is Juventus. Juventus, who are looking to compete with Napoli. And as such, they're also looking for an elite goalkeeper, and they have set their eyes on Mark Ter Stegen. And there is, of course, Manchester United, as I reported before, who are looking to replace Onana. And then finally, a club that now most media sources are now confirming, which is Manchester City. Somewhere I told you about several days ago. I get to flex now because nobody else was reporting it. I told you Man City are looking at Ter Stegen. Nobody was talking about it. Now, other media outlets, main media outlets are talking about it. So I guess I get to give myself flowers because people are like, Mo, you use misinformation. Oh, you're just hypothesizing. Oh, you're just assuming things. Well, I'm not assuming anything. I told you Man City were interested in him, and several days later, several of the main media outlets have picked up the same news. But Man City are also looking at Mark Ter Stegen because they're looking to replace Ederson. And of course, Man City tried to sign Ter Stegen back in 2016, and now once again, they are trying to sign him now. Now, for now, Ter Stegen is rejecting any offer that comes his way because he wants to stay at Barcelona. We'll see what happens after the meeting between him, Deco, and Flick because, of course, during that meeting, Deco and Flick are expected to tell Ter Stegen that they don't count on him. All right, on to the next bit of news because it's been revealed how much Barcelona had to pay Clément Lenglet in order to rescind his contract. Now, as you know, Barcelona reached an agreement to rescind the contract of Clément Lenglet, and he has left as a free agent and joined Atletico Madrid on a permanent transfer until 2028. And initially, it was being reported that Barcelona had agreed to terminate the contract of Lenglet for free. And I was like, there is absolutely no way that is true because we're talking about Lenglet. Lenglet, who has refused to sign with other clubs because they weren't willing to match his salary, despite facing the threat of not having a single minute at Barcelona. So in other words, he didn't even care that he was going to throw his career away and stay on the bench as long as he was making the money that he thought he deserved. And well, so I was like, there's no way he left for free. And well, lo and behold, that is true. It's been revealed that now Barcelona paid Lenglet 1.5 million euros for him to leave. Now, of course, that figure is much, much lower than what Barcelona would have had to pay his salary if he had stayed. But, of course, always be wary because, as we found out before, whenever Barcelona gives us a number, years later, it turns out it was much, much more than that. But hopefully, it's just 1.5 million euros what Barcelona paid Lingle. Now, the last bit of news is in regards to Nico Williams because it's been revealed that Bayern Munich are currently negotiating with the agent of Nico Williams. They're very interested in signing him. But just like the Premier League, Nico Williams is not too in favor of going to the Bundesliga. And as such, he does have very high salary requirements from Bayern Munich. He's requesting 20 million euros gross. In other words, 10 million euros net. And this is something I've talked about in the past. You know, when people were like, oh, Barcelona cannot sign Nico because they won't be able to afford his salary. And I said, hold on a minute. Nico Williams has two salary demands. One that's for La Liga, whether it be Athletic Club Bilbao if they decide to renew him, or Barcelona if they decide to, pull their heads out of their asses and sign him. And a higher salary demand for other clubs. Why? Because Nico Williams doesn't want to leave La Liga. He wants to stay in La Liga. But if he has to leave, then it better be for a lot of money. So his demand of 20 million euros salary gross or 10 million euros net is for clubs from the Premier League and from the Bundesliga because he prefer not to go there. And if he has to go there, well, it better be for a lot of money. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did upload another video a few moments ago. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.